I single-handedly broke up my marriage. You're an awful person.
You're 24 years old. Why would I listen to you? Why would you be giving therapy and advice to people who clearly need it? It doesn't make any sense, Ari. This is a horrible idea.
You're listening to
Unlicensed
Therapy with Ari Mannis.
Nice eyes.
Thank you.
Blue.
Yes.
I've heard that people with blue eyes have worse eyesight. And you have
I buy
glasses.
that. I do have glasses. Everybody in my family who has blue eyes, it's 3 out of the 4 people in my immediate family, all have blue eyes, all have glasses or contacts.
There you go. It's true.
It is what it is. It looks nice,
you're
but
pretty,
we're broken.
you're pretty handsome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Have you always been handsome?
No, I don't think so. I don't think I really started to I was a very chubby kid.
Oh, you were?
I was definitely I was never fat, but I was definitely fat enough that
you weren't athletic.
I wasn't athletic. I got bullied. I had, very doughy face, doughy body. And then
what happened? What changed?
I just wanted to lose a bunch of weight.
Oh, just yourself. You're just
I was
changing my life.
Yeah, I'm gonna change my life. There's this book that I think it was my junior year or senior year of high school, because I remember it was right around then when I started to really just get into, I want to look better. So there's this book called Eat This, Not That, which I read a lot of.
I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's a classic for weight loss. It's basically this thing where you can still go to fast food restaurants, but it says if you get this, you should get this instead.
So like what? For example?
For Taco Bell, for example, right? Instead of getting the standard taco, you get a Fresca taco because it doesn't have cheese. And
Fresca is?
It's where they get rid of the cheese and then they just put a different kind of salsa on it.
Got it.
And I think some lettuce too, but lettuce is standard for Taco Bell tacos.
Yeah.
And they also said get an actual meat instead of the meat gun meat. Get a grilled chicken or a grilled steak.
What's meat? Oh, instead of the beef.
The beef.
The ground beef.
Yes.
And so, so it's saying still eat the places you want, but so what's it say to get instead of French fries?
Just don't get French fries. Salads. I wouldn't order salads from fast food restaurants. I just wouldn't get the fries.
Yeah.
Potatoes have a lot of starch and calories in them.
Oh, yeah, they're horrible.
Yeah, potatoes are so
they're
bad
so
for
yummy.
you. I know. I had to try, I think in general now I do still love a good French fry. I try and eat less.
The hard part is 2 a.m.
Yeah.
I could eat pretty good during the afternoons if I'm not negatively influenced. If I'm not going somewhere bad to eat with a friend.
Right.
But if I'm by myself, I could eat well. But 2 a.m, that's when I get, why don't you just hit the Wendy's drive-thru?
Right. That's where I'm at.
Treat yourself.
That's where I'm at now that I've been trying to break myself of. I've been getting into intermittent fasting a lot lately.
A lot of people are into that.
It's a good method. It's tricky at first because, especially as comics are so used to being out late at night and eating garbage, because garbage is available to us very readily at 2 a.m. But once you get out of the habit of eating late at night in particular, then it definitely has an effect on the way you look and your weight.
Right.
Just
so
changes
what's your hours of eating?
It kind of depends. I'll usually do a 14 or a 16-hour fast, depending on what my schedule's like. But I'll usually stop eating at about 6 or 7. Yeah. And I'll wake up in the morning. I usually wake up about 9. I'll have a coffee. I'll actually be able to start eating around 10:30 or 11, depending on what kind of what my day, the previous day had looked like. And even for that, I don't tend to eat something crazy. I'll have
whatever.
Yeah, whatever's around the house. Or sometimes I'll go out and get a breakfast burrito. And then that's really I'll eat one big meal a day and then I just kind of snack. And that's generally it.
Wow.
That's the method now.
That's willpower, baby.
It helps immensely.
I'm at this weird place where I'm not happy with my body, but it hasn't affected me negatively in any way. I could still go hiking. I could still make out with women.
Yeah.
So I don't it's all on me to lose the weight.
Right.
There's no other motivating factors, and that's what makes it hard.
That is the hardest part.
I mean, it's always all on you,
yourself.
but sometimes it's like, oh, that girl doesn't like me because I'm out of shape. That could motivate you, or, oh, I can't play that sport.
Right. That was
I can't fit into these pants, but none of those things are happening to me yet.
I decided to lose a bunch of weight when I was in high school because I wanted girls to like me and pay attention to me.
Yeah.
And
those
they
are really
did.
the motivating factor for everything in life.
Oh, yeah.
Some people want to admit it. Some people are like, oh, no, I just want to better myself. Bullshit.
Right.
You want to get more girls.
Yeah.
You pervert.
That's it.
Or more dudes if you're a homosexual.
You're just trying to, everybody's just trying to fuck.
Yeah. That's what makes the world goes around.
Anybody wants that. Fucking is a motivation for, I would say, probably 90 to 95% of human decisions.
Look at Stephen Hawking.
Right.
That guy left his wife for another girl.
Yeah.
That guy.
Stephen
I
Hawking.
didn't even know that guy can come, but apparently he could.
He comes, when he comes, it's all like binary. It's just 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. That's it.
That's it. He must be the nicest guy in the world. I mean,
Must
I
have been
know
the
he's
nicest
rich. Yeah, and did he die?
Stephen Hawking, he's been dead.
When?
He died years ago.
Like 10 years ago?
Not
or
10, at least. I want to say 3 to 5.
Okay, so not that long ago.
It's been a while.
A few years, but not.
It's enough that I'm surprised you
Not
didn't
like
know
when
that
I was
he
a
was
kid.
dead.
Yeah.
Right.
But he's obviously smart and rich.
Yeah.
But he must have been really nice and compassionate to pull so many girls.
Probably.
In his physical appearance state.
I would imagine, especially given...
Or maybe he just took care of them. Maybe they're like, listen, I don't have to hook up with the guy because look at him. And he's rich, so I'll get everything I want.
You still got to hook up with him a little bit, though. I mean, I imagine it's probably not that intense. There's
I would
no
like to
foreplay
see a sex tape.
with Stephen Hawking.
Yeah. I'm surprised no porno company didn't make a spoof. Maybe they did, and I just didn't see it.
A Brief History of Cum, the
Yeah.
Stephen Hawking tape.
I want to see a Brazzers Stephen Hawking edition.
They should do that. I feel like Historical Roast really has opened the door, I think, for more like historical and drunk history sort of reenactments, but porn parodies. Like, I would love to see like Alexander Graham Bell, Ben Franklin in porn.
Yeah, but those are kind of history nerd topics, and I bet you that the average porn director / writer is a dum-dum and doesn't know about history.
But there's also plenty of chances. Have you ever heard of Pirates? Not like the concept, but the porn Pirates.
Yeah, oh yeah, which was like Pirates of the Caribbean knockoff, yeah.
So, but that was, that had a budget, that had a story enough to where they had an edited version where they cut out all the porn parts.
They did?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to see that.
You can probably find it.
Did you watch it?
No, but I've heard enough about it.
I didn't hear they made
I go down a lot of
version.
I go down a lot of Wikipedia.
So they made
holes.
a PG version.
It's probably
PG
like
edit, or
PG-13.
PG-13 edit.
But
I would love to see that.
Yeah. But I feel like the guy who made Pirates is definitely the kind of porn director who would do a historical, like 1776, the Declaration of Independence.
That's awesome.
But for
jizz. I think you're right. Now that you talked me into it, I think there is a market out there for that.
John
There's someone who can do it. Yeah.
Right?
Would you direct a porno? Let's say it paid $500 a day, and you could use a different name and be completely anonymous. Someone's like, "Hey, would you do it?"
Yeah, $500 a day seems like it's too little. Honestly, I mean, I do it because I need the money right now. But I would. I've been on a porn set before.
Really? What for?
When I was let's see, I was probably about a year or two into LA and being here. And maybe like 3 years. But I did a web series that was set in the porn world called Dating on Set.
Okay.
And we shot it in Chatsworth at one of the producers was a woman who she also produced porn, and she was sort of like a porn den mother. She was never in it herself, I don't think.
She just was involved.
Yeah, and so we would shoot most of our scenes that were like the home base at this house that was an actual porn house. So they not only they shoot porn there, but also like young porn girls would come and stay there. Wow. It was very because they're not like sleeping in bedrooms necessarily or like on beds. Like there were a lot of beanbag chairs around. There was it felt just, it was just like, you know, it was like a house, you know, it was like a house that you'd rent out if you were in the, like if you're looking for a starter home, like you're trying to start a family, you want to go live in the suburbs somewhere. It was like that kind of house, but it was just girls in their, you know, early to mid 20s living there.
That sounds like a place I want to go check out.
Yeah, it was interesting. And we all shot, the crew was all porn guys. So they were all talking about.
And they were all probably cool.
Yeah. Everybody was cool as hell.
Yeah.
It was, and the porn stars and porn actresses that we were working with are very cool and down to earth.
You told me that you're cutting down on meat, but you're not a vegetarian?
No.
So how much, do you have a set amount, or are you just generally just trying to cut down?
Just generally. I'm eating less red meat for sure.
What made you decide to do this?
It's sort of like a macro and a micro thing. Like on a big level, I keep dating vegetarians. Like most of the girls who I've ever dated in my entire life have been vegetarians. Most.
Wow.
Out of the 4 women who I've had like a long-term relationship with, 3 of them were vegetarians.
That's crazy. And it happened that way.
Yeah.
You're just attracted to vegetarians, or vegetarians are attracted to you. Which do you think it is?
Man, I don't know. I think maybe it's a subconscious thing on my end. Because there's something about the vegetarian lifestyle where the people who are vegetarians generally seem healthier and a little bit more put together. Because vegetarianism, or like pescatarian, like my girlfriend now is pescatarian, right? So she'll eat fish.
Right.
But that's it.
I didn't know you had a girlfriend.
Yeah. Oh, I keep her. We have almost 2 years.
You just, what? Oh, you just don't you don't take her around?
No.
Is she a comic?
No.
What is she?
She's a writer, a screenwriter.
Okay. And how'd you meet her?
Bumble.
Nice.
Yeah,
2
man.
years.
We've been dating 2 years. We lived together for about 4 or 5 months.
How's that going?
It's good.
In a 1-bedroom?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's nice.
Did you move to her place? Did she move to your place? Did you get a place together?
We got a place together. And it's down.
That's a big deal.
It's down the street from my old place. She was living with a roommate, and I was living in a place where all of my previous roommates had moved out, and I was just Airbnb-ing the spare room. And I was like, how about you just move in here?
Yeah, I remember you doing that.
He's like, I hit you up for some advice.
So did she move into that?
No.
How
she
come?
wanted to, because she said, if we're going to move in together, I don't want either of us to be moving into the other person's place. I would want us to get a place together. So I balked at that at first.
What was her reasoning? Yeah, what was her, I'm not against it, but what was her reasoning for that?
For the sake of it feeling like it's a space we have together.
Got it.
Instead of it being like you're in my space.
My last girlfriend moved into my place.
Mm-hmm.
And it's true. Like when things were kind of not going well, I was like, get out of my place.
Right.
And if you move in together, there's not really that vibe.
Mm-mm. You got to work through the shit together.
But I'll say this: if we were going to move together, we just wouldn't have moved in together because I like my place too much.
Yeah,
I don't think I'm giving it up unless I could buy a place.
That's fair. That's how I felt about mine at first, and then I saw some other. We were just looking at places, and I was like, "Oh, there's a lot of really cool apartments that still exist."
Well, there's really cool places, but for the price too.
That was the thing. We found a place that was. It was really close to my old place, down the street, like 2 blocks. Mm-hmm. And the place I was living in was a 2-bedroom, sort of. It was like a 1-bedroom that had another enclosed room that you could use for like an office or something.
Yeah.
And the one we're in now is a 1-bedroom, and it's a little bit less expensive, not by much, but it was close enough. I was like, you know what, this is worth it.
Yeah.
This is worth the move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you sleep in the same bed every night?
Yeah.
That's cool.
She and I both travel a fair bit. So
why does she travel for?
She has a writing partner in New York.
Okay.
And that's where she's from originally. So she, between going back to visit family and going back to write with her writing partner, she'll do a fair amount of travel.
And is her writing partner a male or a female?
A female.
Okay, good.
She's worked with some male writing partners before.
How does that make you feel?
I mean, they're all gay, so it doesn't really affect me.
Do you say, is he gay?
I always ask, listen, are you writing with a gay guy again? Because you better be.
Yeah. Are you a jealous type?
Not really. I have been jealous in the past. I don't feel jealous. And this is definitely the healthiest relationship I've been in.
That's good. I feel like everyone every relationship gets a little bit healthier.
Well, you figure
As
out
you get older, what you want, what you don't want.
You figure out more about yourself and what you're looking for and how to communicate with people. A lot of the problems that I feel like you have when you're in a newer relationship or a younger relationship don't really transfer if you're trying to actually work on yourself and go to an older relationship. I definitely have jealous moments, but I get jealous about the way time is spent. Not necessarily like if she's with a certain person that weirds me out, but if I'm like, because our schedules are so different or they have been previously. Now we're sort of on like this, we're on a similar schedule now, but we're both so busy. Like,
neither
stuff.
of you really have jobs, right?
Right. I mean, I am actually officially unemployed right now just because I don't have like a show I'm writing on or something like that. I'm not on the road or anything. And then she has she's writing scripts with people, so she'll be like, if she's writing with her New York writing partner, she's writing from home. Or if
what do they do? Skype together?
Yeah, they'll Skype and they have like a writer duet thing. But sometimes she'll like be on the phone in the living room, and then I'm working also. But this is new for me because I have not been this year, and since we've lived together, at home as much as I have been. Usually, I've been in a writer's room somewhere, so like I'm in an office.
Oh, so
and
you're
I'm not home.
More time together.
Way more time together. But not really together. We're just sort of like in the same
place.
room.
Yeah.
So it's definitely an adjustment.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And what kind of job are you looking for? Just anything?
Yeah, just writing jobs.
How long do you have to wait before you'd have to get like another day job type of job?
Oh, I'm set for a little bit.
Yeah.
I saved my money wisely.
Yeah.
And I just applied for unemployment.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Then that can go for 6 months or so.
It can go for a year.
1 year of unemployment. All right, so you're good. So you're good for at least a year.
Yeah,
if not more.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm hoping that I'll get another job before then. I don't have any doubt that I will. It's just now I'm in the phase of the career where it's like, all right, well, I don't necessarily have something that's immediately lined up, so I have to kind of work to make my own deadlines for stuff. Or if like, say I get a packet for a show, then I have to make sure that I do the best job possible that I can on that and really dedicate my time that week to making that good. Yeah. And I imagine, all of the writing jobs I've ever had so far have all been from referrals. Right. So I imagine that I'll probably get this instead of a packet that I submit. I imagine I'd probably be more likely to get a job from somebody who I already know.
Oh yeah,
who's working on a show. I don't think
I've ever gotten a job from just a blind submission.
No, I haven't.
I don't think I have. Yeah.
Not any like comedy related jobs.
No, that's what I mean.
I've gotten a lot of
I've applied for a regular job.
Oh yeah,
blindly, but yeah, not an entertainment job where I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna send this in. They really like my tape.
Mm-hmm. It's never happened.
I wish it would.
I know. The closest that ever came was when I got my first writing job, but it was a guy saw me on stage at the store doing a set, and he came up to me afterwards and he was like, "Hey, I really liked your set. I'm I'm doing a writer's room for a pilot. I think you'd be good to have in the room. So get in touch." And that was the first time I was like, "Oh, interesting. Okay." And we even had like a meeting when we were first meeting up, and he was like, "Yeah, I kind of wanted to do that, like the old Hollywood version of like you pluck somebody from their day job and you get to give them some stuff." And I was like, "Oh yeah, thank you. That's what you're doing. That's really nice.
That's pretty sweet." Yeah, yeah, it makes you feel like a good comedian.
Yeah, it makes you feel like you're actually.
And what was that a pilot for?
It's for this show called Werewolf. You ever played Mafia?
I've heard of it.
So Mafia and Werewolf, it's like same game, different names. Okay. Basically, it's a game where you get people together and you say they're part of a town, right? And the townsfolk all have there's some bad people in the midst. You can call them mafia members, you can call them werewolves, whatever variation the game is. The job of the werewolves or the mafia is to kill everybody in the town. And it's days and nights. So nights are when the mafia and the werewolves activate and they kill people. Okay. And days, everybody's talking and you're trying to suss out who the bad people are.
Who you're going to have to kill later.
Right. And you execute, at the end of every day, you execute somebody.
And does it tell you if you execute a good person or a bad person?
Some variations you do, some variations you don't. I think if I remember correctly, for the pilot we did, we told them at the end of if they executed a good person or a bad person. But sometimes you don't.
But was it a non-scripted pilot?
Yeah, it was basically like they wanted to do sort of a combination of like a panel show kind of at midnight feeling.
Got it.
But also a game show in a way.
Okay, so this was a game show,
right?
Mafia.
But it's all there were no real people on our version. Like they'd done a previous version where they had some regular people with interesting jobs in the like they had a psychic and they had a FBI profiler and then they had a couple ringer. They had some actors and they had some comedians. Like Kristen Shaw did that pilot and this one they were like, all right, let's just get only comedians. And we'll get a couple comedy people in the writer's room and we'll just write scenarios for stuff to happen during the game.
Yeah.
And so we basically just we're coming up with bits that could happen as they're trying to investigate who these people are. And we had a host, so we would write, some host copy and some host lines.
Right.
And that was about it.
That sounds pretty, I want to watch it now.
I think it got picked up, but I'm not involved.
Right.
Because the person who originally created the show kind of gave it away to us to do a version of, but then we did a good job, and so then they picked it up, and then they were like, we're gonna get rid of you guys. We're gonna bring back in the original team.
Damn.
That's what I hear anyway. That's
Wait, so they liked the original version better?
No, they liked our version better.
Then you'd think they would have kept you guys,
right? But Hollywood, baby.
Yeah,
shit changes.
That sucks though.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you could hit them up now that you don't have a job. Hey, if you need an extra writer in the writer's room.
Maybe. The problem is the guy who brought me in also is not involved. They cut him out.
Oh, they cut him out too.
Right.
Wow.
Which is the real shady part. I remember because I worked with him on another show. I've worked with him a couple times, and we were talking at the last time our show wrapped, and he was like, "Yeah, they cut me out," and we were just like, this fucking business, man. People just want to.
And what about, are you working on your own
egos.
projects too? Besides the looking for another job to jump on? I
haven't since I've been back. So the time frame of like my life for the past month and a half has basically been I was working on MasterChef Junior until the very end of July. Okay. And then July ended. I immediately left to go to Scotland to do the Edinburgh Fringe.
Okay, and you were there for a month?
Yeah, just about. I did 20. I came back on the 26th. I did 25 days of shows.
Wow.
Then I had that week.
And did you do your own show or did you jump on other shows?
Both. So I did an hour. I had an hour show that I was doing, just an hour stand up every night.
Did it every night?
Yeah, there were a couple nights I had to cancel just because no one showed. Oh. Yeah.
And how? Yeah, because I've heard you have to promote it yourself.
Yeah.
So like, how many people on average came to your show?
I had a real light attended show. I had probably 8 to 12 people.
Okay, and how do you even get those people? Did you bark on the street? Like, what was?
I had a guy, another LA guy, Michael D'Angelo. I had him barking for me, and then I would go bark during the day, and then he would bark for like an hour or two before the show would start. But the problem was, and I didn't know this until I got out there, the venue that I was at had no foot traffic, and it's in this part of town where there's not a whole lot of shows. It's Newtown. So Old Town in Edinburgh is where like all the shows are, hundreds of venues, thousands of shows. Newtown, there's there's not nearly as many, a fraction of that. And so if I'm out and about flyering people in Old Town, they see that and they're like, "Oh, okay, this sounds interesting. Wait, it's at 11:45. Oh, it's all the way over there." And it's not even that far. It's like a 10, 15-minute walk. But they're like, psychologically, well, I'd rather just stay here where there's all these other shows.
Yeah.
But it was better for me. It was like a blessing in disguise because then because it was small crowds, I really got to hone down whether or not stuff was working in that hour.
Right.
And I really had to fix stuff if it wasn't working or just drop it. And then I was like, okay, cool. The stuff that's working is working good. Because it's making all of these 8 to 12 people laugh.
Right.
But
so are you going to go back next year?
I'd like to. I've learned a lot about how to like run the show at the festival better and where to go.
So it'll just be depending on if you can afford it or what?
Yeah. I mean, I lost money this time, which I figured was probably going to happen.
Yeah.
I had enough. I have a good buffer, and I figured you know what?
It's
This is the
fun.
chance. Why not take the
No,
chance?
Totally. I don't really know anyone who makes money there unless they're famous.
Yeah, it's pretty
I
hard
don't
to do.
think Bronston makes money when he goes.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Jessica Michelle made money, did she? I
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't know if Jeff made money, Baldinger.
Oh yeah, I don't think Baldinger made money.
But it's worth it. It's worth the trip.
And you get to be in Scotland.
Yeah. Who doesn't love being outside of the US for a minute?
What else did you do there? Did you go golfing or anything?
No, I did some hiking. Most of the time, I did a lot of time just like hanging out, watching shows, and running around the city.
Did you get? Oh no, you're sober.
Yeah.
Because most people go there and party, right?
Yeah.
But you still had fun sober?
Yeah. I mean, I would still stay out and like go dancing. I go, I was sort of part of this group of American and a couple Canadian comics and some Australian comics, and we just go hang out, and they'd be like, all right, we're going to go dance at Cabaret Voltaire or some other, dance club. And we'd be like, all right, cool. I'll go hang out and dance, drink some club soda instead, and still stay out until like 3 or 4 in the morning. That doesn't change.
Still, did you eat like garbage?
Oh, yeah. A lot of late night falafel wraps, pizzas, but I lost weight.
How come? Just from hiking?
Walking around so much.
Oh, okay.
I was literally walking everywhere. I would double. I have an Apple Watch, so it always has like, oh, this is what you're supposed to move for the day, right? You're supposed to do like 600 calories worth of movement, and I would be doubling it constantly.
Oh, that's good.
It would say I would get like 2 hours worth of exercise every day, and I'd be eating like burning off full days worth of meals just from walking around. I lost 9 pounds.
I'll go just for that.
It's worth it. Because you can still eat like garbage, but you're walking around so much, it offsets it. That's the problem. There's nobody walks in LA.
Yeah, I mean, I walk around here, but right now it's so hot. It's like 85 degrees out.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not that hot.
It's pretty hot.
But yeah.
It feels hot. I'm definitely like sweating a lot more than I usually would. I didn't think that 85 was hot, but 85 feels hot.
It's, and a dry heat. I don't know. Just maybe I'm pussy. Maybe that's what it comes down to.
LA does kind of make us into temperature pussies.
So from my perspective, you just got back from Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a job, but you're pretty confident you're going to get one. You got a girlfriend you're living with. What's anything I could help you with in your life? What's the therapy here?
I'm trying to think of what
Seems like your life's so good.
See, all right. Well,
you got big, beautiful blue eyes.
Oh, thank you. I'm trying to think of what there is. I was definitely in a much more like place where I needed therapy before I left for Scotland. And now I just feel kind of...
Scotland was your therapy?
Scotland was my therapy. I mean, I had breakdowns. I cried while getting a foot massage.
Really?
Like day 6. Yeah.
What was wrong?
Oh, man. So I had 2 days in a row where shows canceled, and I didn't have any other shows lined up.
Got it.
And it was like days 5 and 6, and I was like, oh, it's going to be like this the entire rest of the time. And so I freaked out.
What am I doing here?
Yeah. You know what this is?
Was the venue cool with it? Like, do they care that only 8-10 people showed up?
Yeah, they don't give a shit because they're not making any money. It's a free festival that I'm a part of, so they're just renting the venue out. They don't care if people show up or not.
Right.
If a ton of people show up, great. If nobody shows up, totally fine. But I think I tend to here's something maybe you can help me out with.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to look at life in very like black and white, peaks and valleys kind of terms.
Okay.
And I think this getting the foot massage and crying while getting the foot massage very much illustrates that. Like as soon as 2 bad things happened, and they weren't that bad.
Right.
But in like the grand scheme of things.
No, in the scheme of things, they're not bad, but you spent all this money going to Scotland. You're going there to do shows.
Right.
2 days in a row, your shows fall through, and then you're like, shit.
Yeah.
Now I have 20 more days of this.
And then, somebody's telling me, friends are out there, they're like, go do something nice for yourself. And I'm going to get a foot massage and it's working, but I'm just lying there on the table, just tears rolling down my face. And the masseuse is asking if I'm okay.
Oh, is it like they
yeah. She was like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, you have really strong hands.
You're doing great.
Yeah.
But I tend to look at things. I beat myself up a lot about stuff. I tend to beat myself up because right now
everyone's their own worst critics.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not being productive, and I know that I am, but it's very much I get in this headspace where it's like, oh, I'm not doing enough. It never feels like I'm doing enough.
Yeah, when you don't have a boss, when you're your own boss, and Yeah, it's just I have that too. Just
Yeah.
literally anytime I'm enjoying myself not working, basically, I'm always thinking, oh, I should be home writing right now, or I should be editing, or I should be doing something, but I should be at an open mic. Like,
Yeah.
I don't let myself off the hook. It's easier said than done. But yeah, I think one way to fix that, which I'm sure you already do, is have a calendar. So
Okay.
if you get everything if you have goals for the day and you accomplish them, then when you're not doing those goals, when you're out and about, when you're on a date, when you're hanging out with friends doing nothing, you don't feel guilty because you're like, oh yeah, but earlier today I edited and I wrote and I did my whatever. I did all the things that I want to accomplish today.
Right.
So I think that's something that I need to work on myself. I'm preaching that, but I need to work on it myself as well.
It's always easy to say the thing that you know deep down you need to do.
Yeah, but it's really just setting a calendar and treating it like a job. And that way, when you're not doing that job, you don't feel guilty because, oh, yeah, I already finished that for the day.
Yeah.
And that's not saying you can't do more than what's on the calendar, but then you don't feel guilty when you're not.
I got a question for you because I think this might help me as well. So I tend to look at things as sort of like big picture, long-term kind of stuff. That's sort of like my general mode. How do you interact with the world in terms of like what you're doing? Do you look like months or weeks or even like further than that out, or do you tend to take things as it comes, like one day at a time?
I mean, I definitely think about goals and stuff I want to accomplish down the road, but yeah, I don't think about it too much. I'd say I'm more in the moment type of guy. I don't know why.
How do you get to that? That's the hardest. That's the thing I have to work the hardest to do all the time is be in the moment and be present.
Well, okay. So what's like something that you think of? What's something that you think of for down the line when you're thinking about that?
Something I think of for down the line.
Yeah.
So this month, I would like to write a script, like a feature script.
Okay.
And I've had that goal set up on my board of stuff I want to do for a while.
Right.
And 2 weeks have gone by at time of us recording this, and I haven't started on that at all.
Really, it's about for something like that because it's such a big thing that there's no way you could finish that in a day or even a week,
right,
or even probably a month. So all you can do is break that down into a bunch of little things. So if you're writing a feature film, what's the first thing you need to do is have an outline.
Right.
Or
a treatment, maybe.
Yeah, whatever the first
works.
thing is for you. For me, I think the first thing I would do is make an outline. So maybe instead of thinking, oh no, I have that feature film thing I have to do, think I have to make the outline for the feature film. Just break it down so that your goals, before you know it, you're at the finish line. You know what I mean? So then once you finish your outline, okay, I need to write the treatment. Then once you have the treatment, okay, I'm just going to write one page of the feature. I'm going to write the first page. That's it. So you can do it like that as opposed to, okay, today I'm going to work on the feature film.
It sounds so simple the way you put it, but I have such a hard time converting into actually
Here's
doing
the thing.
that.
You can't finish a feature film in a day.
Right.
You could finish an outline in a day. Even if it's not done, even if it's a bad outline, you could go home right now. If you have a few hours, you could go, okay, I'm going to work on this outline. You can do, that's a doable thing.
It's true.
So you can't, if you view it as I have to go work on the feature, it's not doable. And your body doesn't want to do things that.
That's not that hard.
And when you do that too, it gets your head spinning. Then you're like, oh shit, for the treatment, it's going to be like this. And it's good. It'll help the whole process.
I got another question for you.
Okay.
All right. So in terms of the feeling like you are allowing yourself to have some time away from things, right? After you've done you set a goal for the day and you achieve that goal for the day, and then that gives you the leeway to go out and hang out with people. Do you do anything when you're doing that? Because that's something I'm actively trying to work on more, is hanging out with other people and socializing. Is there anything you do to keep yourself from being distracted during those times and have your mind be completely somewhere else, whether that's like on your work or on some other problem?
You're saying when you're hanging out with people, is there something you do to make sure you're in the moment with those people? No, I'm kind of a weird guy, and I'll go on my phone a lot, and I'll be other places. But I just hopefully have friends that are okay with that.
All right.
For me, that's probably not the way it should be. Probably should work on just being in the moment with those people. But like me and my best friends, we'll sit in the room in silence on our phones.
I mean, that speaks to a level of comfort between you and your friends, though.
Yeah,
which is good. I mean, that means you found the people
none of
you
us
wanna
have a
hang out
problem with it. Like, no, like, you know, everyone's been with the group. They're like, oh, look, everyone's on their phones, or, you know, whatever. Or you feel like you don't want to go on your phone because it'll be rude.
Right.
But me and my friends, yeah, no, take that phone call. Oh, yeah, text them back.
All phones.
Oh, you want to surf on Wikipedia for an hour? Yeah, do it.
So that means, I mean, I love surfing on Wikipedia. Maybe I just got to find some other friends who are just in their phones.
That's the new thing. People are on their phones all the time. So a good friend isn't going to make you feel guilty about doing what everyone does.
I do love a good app. I just downloaded an app that helped me to help remind me to connect to people.
What? Facebook?
No. I hate Facebook. I have this app. What is it called? Oh, geez. Juul? Not Juul. That's a vaping device. Don't Juul. It's going to ruin you.
6 deaths.
Fabric.
Wait, so what's Fabric do?
Fabric basically lets you have circles of friendship, and it says, all right, pick some people, and you're going to connect with these, and it's going to remind you to, like, reach out to those people, like, once a week, once a month, once every couple months.
So you pick okay, this is interesting. So you pick your people who you want to be in your life, basically.
Right.
Does it connect to your social media accounts to find those people?
It can.
Or your phone book or whatever?
It connects to, you can log in with Facebook if you want, and then it'll connect to your phone book automatically.
Got it. So you're on there and it says, pick the people you want in your life.
Yeah.
And then you pick them, and then it'll say, hey, talk to this person today.
Right. And you can choose how often, what closeness level do you want to have with this person? Where do you want them to be in your life?
Okay, that's interesting. I'm not saying this is a bad idea. It sounds like it makes it sound, oh, this person's not good enough for you to remember them. You need this app to remind them. But some people are just busy. Maybe you're busy and you forget, and this person's important to you and you want them in your life, but you need this app to remind you.
I forget all the time.
So is that why you did it?
Yeah. Well, because I do stuff. I get caught up in stuff. It's very easy for me to forget
So did you put like old friends in it, kind of like from college that you barely talk to anymore, or did you just do people kind of in your LA circle?
A little bit of both. Like some of it, I have my parents in there because I even forget to talk to them, and then I have some college friends, some friends here in LA, some other comics who like I enjoy hanging out with, or I want to be like, hey, let's get a coffee or something.
Yeah,
just chat. Because that was the thing when I was in Scotland. I was between all of the actual work that I had to do as far as like promoting a show and running around and doing other spots and all that kind of stuff. There's so much idle time, but I felt like for the most part, I didn't want to spend that time alone because I felt like if I was alone too much, then I would have gotten into like a dark, negative place. And being around people helped lift me up.
When I'm somewhere else and I'm alone, I always feel like, well, I could be alone at my house. I'm in this new place. I should be maximizing the place.
Yeah. I would do a lot more like eating with people. I would take a little bit of time to myself every day. I'd like go
of course.
Get a coffee and listen to the set from last night and take notes and stuff. But for the most part, it was like, I don't want to be by myself eating or walking around the city. I'd rather just like hang out with somebody and like bullshit with them or just walk next to each other in silence.
What was the highest attended show you had?
That I had?
Yeah.
I had about probably like 35, 40 people at the show.
That's pretty good. And then what was the highest, what was the coolest show you got to do that wasn't your own show?
Oh, that's a good question. There's a roast battle out there that was pretty fun.
Oh, there was a roast battle at the festival?
There's one that the guys who run the roast battle in London run during the Fringe.
Okay.
But it was cool, but it was also like very similar to the LA version. So I'm trying to think of one that would be like, oh, you know what? Okay, so there's this show that I did called the Alternative Comedy Memorial Society.
Okay.
And it's this show that I guess is sort of a Fringe standby. It's been around for like 2 decades. And it goes from midnight till 3 a.m.
Wow.
And there's a crowd the entire time. And there's this sort of weird language that happens. Like there's like approved heckles that people are allowed to do.
Like what?
Permitted heckle, excuse me.
Like what's a permitted heckle?
It depends. It's kind of at the whim of the hosts.
An example.
God, I couldn't even remember. There's just like sometimes somebody would say something and they'd be like, "Hey, that's not a permitted heckle," or they'd say like, "Oh, that's a permitted heckle," and then at the end of everybody's set, they'd say, "It was a failure," and then the crowd goes, "A noble failure." So everybody's no matter what, no matter how you did.
Interesting.
But that
sounds very like supportive and lame, but fun.
But it was weird because, the whole point of it is it's like the Alternative Comedy Memorial Society, right? So most of the sets that I saw it was a mix of stuff that would probably fly like at any comedy club. Mm-hmm. And then also stuff that's like super alt and weird. Yeah. Even for like alt LA kind of standards, Right. And I had to close the show.
Okay.
The one time
so
I got on
at 2:50 in the morning.
Yes. And they're like, you got 5 minutes, close the show. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to try and like lean into the weirdness. I'm just going to do my best 5. So I did that. And it's a very like, they told afterward, the set went great. And the guy pulled me aside afterwards who, one of the guys who ran the show. And he was like, usually people don't do well with material, especially that late at night, but you did great. And I want to commend you for that. And I was like, oh, okay, that felt nice. But there were also times like somebody like gasped at something that I said. And I was like, oh, that's a permitted gasp. And people were like, he knows what's going on in this show.
Yeah.
But that was a cool experience.
And so you left there and you recorded your album recently.
Yeah. Right when I came back.
So was your album, how long was your album?
Album is about the actual stand-up set is about 48 minutes. It's like
so pretty
just
much
shy of 50.
Hour.
Pretty much. I started out when I was in Scotland. I got there and I had way too much material. I had like 75 minutes and I shaved it down to about 50, 55 is what I was consistently doing night after night. And then when I came back to LA, I ran it a couple more times, got rid of some stuff that was very Scotland and fringe centric. Put back in some American references to sort of even it out, and then I did the set, and I did it once, got it out.
Oh, you just did one show to record
one
your
show,
album.
Yeah.
And what was the reason you wanted to do an album? Was it just to retire that material? Is it...
Yeah.
Like, what was your goal with it? Do you want to put it on Sirius? What's your...
Retire the material and then put it out as much as I can. I want to get it out, through all the distribution channels, Spotify, Apple Music, I guess. You can't call it iTunes now.
Oh, they took... There's no more iTunes, right?
They're getting rid of it very soon. I think probably in the next OS update. But yeah, Pandora. And then if I got to figure out how, but SiriusXM... it looks like I'm probably going to wind up self-distributing, so that means going through SiriusXM is going to be a little bit trickier. But I've got some people in my corner helping out with that.
Nice.
So yeah, and I just want to put it out. I mean, I've been
kind of wanting to put out an EP, just a 20-minute thing.
It feels good.
It feels good to release something.
Yeah, and it's something. I mean, we're at this point now. Like, who's the rules don't really exist anymore the way that they used to. Like, I remember when I first moved to LA, I was so precious about, I want to make sure that, like, if I'm going to record an album, people are going to approach me, and I'm not going to put any material on YouTube, and blah, blah, blah. And I've been doing it here. I've been in LA 7 years, been doing comedy almost 9, and I'm just like, fuck, who cares? Why not just do the thing? I see so many other people just doing the thing and putting it out, and people finding them from
Well, you also get tired of waiting. Like, sure, it would be nice if, Comedy Central wanted to do my half hour, but how long do I wait?
Right.
Before I'm like, well, I want to do this. I don't want to wait years for someone to notice me.
Mm-hmm. It's just easier to know that you have to have the confidence in your own abilities and put it out.
Mm-hmm. And these days, the quality, you can record an album for very cheap.
Oh, yeah. And I got Coach T from Roast Battle doing my production.
Mm-hmm.
And he recorded it, and it sounds great. I've heard even just the raw audio from my mic, like even that, the audience has picked up on that. And he had 3 separate audience mics too.
Oh, he did? Okay.
And we are doing a little bit of mixing in. There's going to be some Roast Battle audio in there of me battling. There's going to be a little music in there. There might be sketch type stuff in there. It's
okay,
gonna.
So you're making it a little weird.
It's going to be a little weird.
Way.
It's going to be. I don't want it to just be a standard comedy album. I think Years ago, I was taking an improv class, and my teacher said, "You need to recognize that you're more than just another white guy in a plaid shirt with glasses." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And
You're like, but I'm not.
well, I'd never thought about it in those terms before, and I didn't realize that I wasn't. I didn't realize that it was an option for me to not be that, and so now I've tried to really not be like that. I still, I have the glasses. I have to, but don't own any more plaid
laser?
shirts.
No more. You're not gonna do laser surgery. If you got $500K right now in your bank account, would you get laser eye surgery?
Absolutely not. I would much rather spend that on like stuff that I could use. Laser surgery.
$5 million in the bank account.
Nah, laser surgery goes away, dude. Your eyes still adjust. They change. It's not permanent.
Right. Might have to get it redone in 10 years.
I'd rather get some cooler glasses. I've had these glasses. I've had these frames for so long.
What about 2 years? Are you guys going to get engaged?
I don't know.
Is that the topic of conversation come up?
No, we haven't really. We've talked about in terms of like, we would probably not want to get married, either of us, until we are further along in our careers, which would theoretically be in like a couple of years anyway. And neither of us also wants to live in LA forever either.
Where would you want to move to?
New York.
Yeah, and what about her? Same thing?
New York, yeah.
Oh, well,
she's got.
You're on the same page.
We're on the same page, which is a good sign for whatever the future of our relationship could hold.
Why don't you? If both of you want to move there, why don't you guys just move there?
I mean, I've pitched this to her too, and she, I think, wants to be. I would like to be in this place too, where I have a little bit more security. Like, it'd be cool to move there because I got a job there, but I don't necessarily need that. I think.
Yeah, you'll get a job there if you move there.
Well, here's the other thing. We talked about this because she came to visit me in Scotland for a couple days. We talked about maybe moving to London.
She came there just for a couple of days?
Well, this is wild. Her writing partner had a place they could stay in London. So she was like, I'm going to go to visit you for a couple days in Edinburgh. And then go to London and work with her.
I feel like who just moved to, or Omid spent some time in London?
Yeah.
Ali Makowski's going there for the second time. People really like London.
Yeah, Trey Stewart was just over there.
Oh, he was? Just for stand-up?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Everybody, all the London, and there's Australian comics who moved to London, and people I was talking to, friends of mine from Fringe, they were like, yeah, you can make a living working the stand-up circuit in the UK because there's a lot of clubs and you can go, and the way the system there is set up is typically it's not necessarily the way like a standard LA road club would be, where it's like you got to MC a feature and a headliner. They have an MC and then they basically have like two headliners.
Right.
So it's, the pay scales are a little bit different, but there's a lot more clubs and it's easier to get money and get the work.
Yeah.
Smaller market, smaller clubs, smaller country. And then you can go and tour Europe too. Like, I had friends who I was talking there, they'd be like, oh yeah, I book, you go book a show in like Germany or France or somewhere, Ireland.
Well, maybe go visit before you just move there. Right.
I would be intrigued. I think London is a place that would be more interesting to think about, but I haven't been to London in a number of years. I like New York a lot. I think New York's a really cool city. I like the way people approach stand-up there. I like the way people approach comedy there, sort of in general. It's a little bit more chaotic of a place.
Yeah.
I will say, though, I do like LA a lot more than I ever have. I really wanted to jump ship early on in LA.
I don't have anything against LA. I mean, the people are phony, there's traffic, but there's also cool people, and there's everything you want to do in the world here.
That's the thing. You got accepting that there's going to be phony people in traffic pretty much everywhere is like,
but I'd say there's more. I think there's more in LA.
Yeah.
Than everywhere else, but still, you could find good people. You can avoid the traffic, and it's such a big city.
Yeah.
It's got everything.
It's true.
It's got everything you want comedy-wise.
It does.
But I think if you guys both want to move to New York, I don't understand what's holding you back. You don't have a job.
True.
So it's not going to matter whether you're struggling here financially or there financially. Not much. And I don't know her job thing, but her family's there.
Well, we do have a lease.
You could find someone to take over that lease, or you could break the lease for like $1,000.
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's the beauty of where I'm at right now. I feel like I have never in my entire adult life really been in a position where it's like, oh, I'm an empty vessel. I don't have anything. I don't know what's going to happen next. I guess we'll find out.
I think you guys need to move there. If you both want that. I mean, it'd be one thing if you're like, I like it here, but I'd move there for the job. But you're like, no, I eventually want to go to New York.
Yeah.
And she's the same way. There's nothing keeping you guys here. Is she working on a show? Does she have a writing job?
Not right now. She's working. She's got some leads. She's working.
Well, she could.
Her old boss. She's working with him on something that might go somewhere. But that's the thing. There's always stuff that might go somewhere.
Yeah, there's always leads. There's leads in New York.
There is stuff that like I'm working on here in LA that I would like to see through a little bit. But the option to go to New York it's so enticing. It is interesting. It is. I never thought about it in that terms before.
There's nothing holding you back.
I think the things holding me back more are like stuff that I would rather see through, like ideas that I'm working on with friends and show concepts and stuff like that.
But if a show sold and you need to move back to work on a show here, that would be the best problem to have in the world. You know what I mean?
True.
If you move to New York and then, remember that show I worked on? That's a show in LA. I got to go back. Amazing. Oh, sorry. I have to go back to make hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right.
So I say move.
Huh?
Get the fuck out of here.
Man, coming in hard with that therapy.
If I really wanted to move to New York, I could do it right now.
Yeah, you could up and leave.
And I'm not against New York, but for me, it's like I like LA, and I don't really see myself leaving LA. I would go to New York, obviously, for a right opportunity.
Right.
But that's it.
Is there anywhere else you'd ever feel like you'd want to move for comedy?
If I wasn't in entertainment, I would move. I wouldn't live in LA.
Oh, okay.
I would move to San Diego, maybe even probably somewhere cheap, just so I could live like a king. Maybe
you could probably. San Diego's pretty cheap, isn't it?
No, San Diego's expensive, very expensive. I would probably move to like Phoenix.
Oh, you could live like a king in Phoenix.
Buy a house. I'll buy a house right now in Phoenix and retire and do nothing.
Or I had a friend of mine, a friend of my girlfriend's who. He was going to school. He was going to grad school in Las Vegas, and he rented a giant, like 3-bedroom house for the same, or I think it was less than what I've met anybody paying for like a 1-bedroom.
My apartment monthly could be a big monthly chunk of my mortgage.
Yeah,
of a house.
Man,
in most places of the country.
I'm gonna try and wait and see when the recession hits. Then maybe I'll look into buying a house. Buying some property.
Yeah, no, then you're going to be like, shit, I need money because the recession's hit.
I mean, I've got my money stacked up. I'm set.
You're saved?
I'm safe.
Yeah, there you go. Move to New York with it. That's what you got to do.
Get a condo.
That's what you want to do.
Yeah.
And that's what she wants to. Your girlfriend wants to.
That's true.
And it would be fun and exciting.
I mean, New York is a very fun and exciting city, and moving there sort of on a whim. Oh, man. I'd feel very, very youthful if I did that.
But it's not even that youthful because there's nothing. It's not like you're quitting your job to do it.
You're right.
It's not like you're leaving your girlfriend, making a distance. You guys go together. You get a little studio there. Because probably it's more expensive there.
Oh, I would imagine it's 100% more expensive. We may be able to figure out. I mean, if we did it, we may have we might have some inside tracks on some places.
My real dream is to buy a van and live in a van.
I've always wanted to do that too.
I want to do that so bad.
Why don't you do it?
Honestly, I can't really afford it.
No?
No, because it's a combination of I can't afford it, and then also let's say I could afford it because I would stop paying rent and use that rent money to there. I don't want to give up my apartment. I have such a great apartment and such a good deal.
Right.
And you can't Airbnb anymore because they changed the laws.
Yeah.
So I don't want to give that up.
I feel ya.
If I could still Airbnb my place during that transition and then go to the van and still then I would do it.
God, that Airbnb thing really fucked LA up as far as like,
it fucked me up.
I mean, I stopped Airbnb my old place because I was like, oh, I hate Airbnb a place where people also are like while I live here. But that place that I was Airbnb-ing, it was prime location. I was making money off of it, and I was barely even trying.
Yeah.
But if I had really like put in an effort and kept that apartment and like kept Airbnb-ing it, I could have probably made bank. But now I'm just like, well, there's not even a chance.
Yeah, now they're shutting it down, which I understand why as well. Because if you're a neighbor and you're seeing strangers coming in all the time, that could be weird.
Yeah.
I would understand not liking that. If I was like rich and I owned a condo and my next door neighbor was some dude renting and he just Airbnb'd his place nonstop and I had new people coming in with suitcases every day, that would probably annoy me.
Yeah.
So I get it, but
it's different when
it still sucks.
Yeah. Hey, listen, the people just got to change. People got to change their attitudes on the way Airbnbers go.
You mean people just need to let it happen?
People just let it happen.
Yeah. You could. That's another argument. Just be chill. Chill out, dude. It's not affecting you.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, get a house so you don't notice it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not on the Airbnb's fault.
Right.
It's on you. You're being intolerant.
Maybe things will change in a year from now. Maybe I'll get to do it again.
We'll see.
And then I'll get my van.
You know what you could do? You could do sort of the best of both worlds. Get your van, also go buy a house in Phoenix, Airbnb the house in Phoenix, and then you can have it as like your place to go to.
Yeah, but
and then you get the van.
I can't afford all these things at once, you know? All these things require getting a van costs money, getting a house in Phoenix costs money.
True.
I'm still paying my rent here on my apartment. If I could afford it, I would. If I got the right job, I'm buying a van first thing. If I got $100,000 right now, I would spend half of that on a van.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
My girlfriend, when we were first dating, she was in the process of writing a script that she was trying to sell to a production company. And she said that if she sold the script, that she was going to go buy a plot of land in Joshua Tree and then build a tiny house on it.
Oh, a lot of people do that.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, I thought about that too. But there is a competition. There's a lot of people doing it. It is an investment. You have to go out there and do it. Take time off.
Right.
You have to get a management company to run it. But
land's cheap.
Yeah, you can get a piece of land there for $20,000.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want on it. That's a good option.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'll do.
But then she didn't sell that script, so we're SOL.
Well,
script out of luck.
The land's not going anywhere.
True.
People are always gonna be selling land out there in that desolate, hot desert.
I can't wait for Joshua Tree to be beachside property, and then the
problem with Joshua Tree is, like, that sounds so good in theory, but for example, right now in Joshua Tree, it's probably 110 degrees. No one's going out to Joshua Tree right now.
Right. Well, maybe
or a lot less.
Maybe people go. I feel like people are more likely to go out there now to go to a house and stay there during the day, and then at night when it's cold, you can go outside and like stargaze and whatever the fuck.
Right.
Nobody's camping in Joshua Tree in conditions like this.
That's what I mean.
But you can go out and rent a house and hang out and live that desert life.
Yeah. It's probably really cheap to go there right now.
Just have an Instagrammable Airbnb situation. You're good to go.
Yeah. That's true. What's the biggest failure you've ever had in Hollywood? Do you have any regrets or a big audition you blew or something like that?
Biggest
something you
failure.
could redo or take back or.
If there's something that I could to redo and take back, it's tough. The thing that immediately comes to mind is not something that I did wrong, but it was like a situation that I felt bad about. So it's interesting because it was like a successful thing that happened.
Okay.
So it was a commercial that I booked.
Mm-hmm.
This is 3 or 4 years ago, maybe. I booked this commercial, and I had it listed in my book out dates for one of the days. It was like a 2-day shoot.
Okay.
The second day I was supposed to be booked out. I was supposed to go to my grandma's 80th surprise birthday party.
Okay.
And I booked the thing, and then I saw once I got there, they're like, we're going to need you for 2 days. And so I was like, oh, shit. Well, I should figure this out. So then I called my agency, and I'd already been sort of afraid of something like this happening.
Okay.
But I was like, well, maybe we can work it out. Maybe they like told them that I was going to be gone, and maybe they don't need me. And then they were like, yeah, we
need you.
We're going to need you. Like, you can't, sometimes this kind of shit might happen. So just deal with it. Because the thing is, it was like a SAG. It was my first union job.
Yeah.
And it was for GoDaddy. So it was going to be like, it was a big commercial. And I was like, cool, I guess I'll be fine. But then I had to have a phone call with my family and my grandmother and be like, hey, I'm not going to go.
I would expect your family to be understanding of it.
They were, but I felt bad like having to make that call because there had been times when sort of like I had made a call to my family and been like, hey, keep this in mind. My career is always going to be more important than you guys, which is not the most fun thing. But I was coming at it from a place of like being like a fiery stand up who's like just getting his feet wet and stand up and being like, yeah, no, this is what I'm going to do. But this was a moment where I was like, I feel like I'm actually negatively affecting my relationship with them by this happening. And then to add insult to like psychic injury, the commercial did not air. My commercial, they shot 3 spots for this campaign. Mine was the only one that didn't air.
Fuck. Well, you still got paid at least, right?
I got paid for the shoot, but I wasn't union and I didn't get the residuals or anything after that.
Damn.
I know. So I went through all that.
But you couldn't have predicted that.
No,
I think you made the right call.
I think I did too.
Listen,
I still feel the regret of
that. But they have more birthdays. You can go, hey, I'll come up and visit after, and we'll have our own little surprise birthday with me.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, if you're out here going after a dream, you would expect, I mean, they were supportive, but yeah, I don't think you have anything to feel guilty about.
Right. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine. If that's your biggest regret of 8 years in LA, that's
I've doing roast battle. I've said some stuff that got cut from TV that I was like, ugh, I don't feel good about having said that. But it's like, hey, they cut it. Yeah. And it was a good learning moment for me.
Was it because the joke bombed or because it was so edgy that you didn't want it to go? Why were you thinking I shouldn't have said that?
One of them after the fact, they were like, that was kind of racist. Like you sort of like made a big statement.
I imagine in roast battle, there's a lot of that going on.
Right. Which was the thing. I remember it was the taping and I felt bad afterwards because the guy who I battled had left the comedy club. We were shooting at Comedy Works in Denver, and he left. He stormed out after our battle.
He was not happy.
He was not happy. It wasn't just me. It was the whole show. Like, he perceived the entire show as being like a racist minstrel show because of stuff like I had said a joke, and then the wave was out there.
But didn't he kind of know what it was going into it?
Theoretically, yeah, but he didn't. Like, he didn't do his research. But that was the other thing, too. Like, I felt bad. And in the green room, some of the other guys on the show are like, I mean, you said like a racist thing, but like also this is what the show traffics in. So it's not totally on you. Like, he should have been expecting maybe something like that would be said.
Yeah.
And then I remember I was like, we were in the elevator back at the hotel.
Now. Do you remember the joke?
Yeah, I said, it was about Carlos Miller, and Carlos had he has a beard, right? And I said something about like Carlos. So I'd seen something about like somebody accusing him of stealing jokes. So I was like, Carlos is an accused joke thief, and you can tell he stole something about like his outfit. And I said, and his beard from a juggalo, and then that got the crowd to laugh. And then I said, if you like and then I waited, and I was like, if you like Carlos here, you can catch him next summer at the Gathering of the Jigaboos. Huh. And it was like, I pitched that joke. I thought of it that morning in the airport. This is the day after Trump gets elected, by the way. So it's a weird time.
Yeah.
So I pitched that joke in the airport to like the other comics who were on the show. And I'm like, hey, is this funny? And I told them, they're like, that's great.
Yeah.
You should do that joke. And then I was like, I'm going to do it.
And that's a total roast joke too.
Yeah.
Like it's
wordplay. It's racist.
It's
wordplay.
Also so racist that it's not racist.
Right.
If that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
if you were actually racist, you couldn't make that joke.
Right.
But like the only reason it's funny is because you're not racist.
And but that was the thing is like I got worried about like, am I actually a racist? And I remember I was we were like in the elevator back up to our hotel that night, and I was in the elevator with the Wave, and Jamar, as I was getting out of the elevator, he said, "Good night, racist," and then the doors closed. And
just even though he was joking, you feel guilty about it.
Yeah, and I called some people, and they're like, "You're fine. This show is like
you
all
are
of the
fine.
Horrible things."
Man, it's like it blows my mind. Number one, when sensitive people get into comedy, and then number two, okay, I get it being not sensitive, but maybe sensitive when it comes to yourself. But then the roast battle is the last thing you should do. I've never done the roast battle. I've never done it once.
Right.
I've never battled anyone. And, it's because I know someone's going to make a joke about me and they're joking, but I'm going to be like, is that how people feel about me? And I'm too sensitive. It'll hurt my feelings.
It's easy to think about. So
because of that, I know that about myself. I haven't done it.
I did a joke. I've had so many people come up to me about stuff I've said on Roast Battle. I had a joke about an ex, and it was involving her, and I said something. It was, oh fuck, what was it? I was battling that dude Kevin McNamara. You know Kevin Mac?
No.
Handsome dude he's been on like Lifetime movies and stuff.
Okay.
I battled him, and I said he said something because I used to date, and I was like, yeah, I used to date an actress, and it's good because now I know how to fuck 2 unfunny pussies. And it was like an actress trying to do comedy, and I made that joke, and then she came up to me, and she's like, I saw her do a set on Potluck or something like the week after, and she did a fine set, and she came up and she was like, yes, I'm not such an unfunny pussy, am I? I was like, it was a fucking joke.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to say the mean thing for the joke.
Trying to get a laugh in the room. Yeah.
I was like, clearly I don't think you're unfunny, but I'm trying to get a laugh. Come on.
Yeah.
Just cut me some fucking slack, please.
That's the thing. People are sensitive.
Yeah. It's Roast Battle's the weirdest show I've ever been involved. Like, it's the furthest thing that I thought I would ever be involved with when I came to LA, and I just kind of stumbled into it, and then I've been like, oh, I'm actually good at this. And it's not because I think it's because I'm not a mean person in like everyday life that I can allow me to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna say this shit on stage.
Maybe you bottled up all your meanness and let it out on the roast battle.
Well, here's the thing that I will say is a very positive thing I took away from Roast Battle is that it helped me figure out that I can say, I have sort of like a dark and weird sense of humor anyway. And I think Roast Battle allowed me to tap into that in stand-up and not just in roasting.
That's good.
Which is nice.
Made you a better stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
You don't hear that too often.
It made me better. I could tap into the stuff that I was like, I also think this is funny. So I did that. And a lot of the album that I'm at, the recording is like jokes that I probably wouldn't have felt comfortable doing 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And if I hadn't found Roast Battle and been involved in it, I don't know if I'd ever be telling jokes
I'm
like
at the point in my stand-up where I'm saying shit that's too fucked up, and I'm trying to figure out how to scale it back and still be funny.
I like the way you work in like edge in your stand-up though. Yeah. I think you find it's like watching you on stage is watching a tightrope act, which is very entertaining because you know what you're saying is bad.
Yeah.
But you also, it's like you say it with authority, but you also know that you have no authority. Like I can tell in the way that you're delivering it, you're like, I know that I'm saying a fucked up thing here and I'm only saying it because it's funny, but I'm pretending to deliver this with a way that like, you better believe me.
Yeah. But yeah, I've noticed that my thoughts and like, as I'm writing new ideas, they're getting more fucked up because I think I just build up this numbness to things and to comedy. Like I've watched so much comedy in the last decade that the only thing that makes me laugh is fucked up shit.
Right.
And that's kind of a problem a little bit for me. Like I want to get back to doing just regular jokes.
I can't remember. I think, do you feel like there's a happy medium though?
That's what I mean. Like finding that medium. Like I'm not saying I want to get rid of all my edge. I'm just saying I'm getting more evil.
What do you,
in my stand up, and I want to bring it back. Is
there a joke that you've done like a couple times that you feel like it's crossed a line for you that you're like, I want to go, I can't keep doing this joke?
Honestly, it's not even for me. I feel like I'm crossing the line for everyone else a little bit, and a little bit from, I mean, I don't know. It's not a line necessarily. I've never said anything where I'm like, I feel bad about saying that.
Right.
But I want to be relatable I want to be liked by a bigger audience and not just by people who like fucked up shit.
Right. Yeah.
So,
well, that's you gotta be very careful of like the kind of audience that you attract and traffic, you know?
Right.
It's gotta be, because you gotta keep, if you're doing comedy's a bargain between you and the audience. And if you're doing stuff that's attracting a certain kind of audience, then it's like, well, do I want to keep doing that forever? Or do I want to go back to what feels a little bit more like me and not be so it's pandering, but it's not pandering. In
or
like
at least have both.
Yeah,
I'm not opposed to having a fucked up joke, but then I
Right.
want to follow it with a regular joke.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
I'm in a place where I'm like, I like doing jokes that are kind of fucked up, but I'll also temper it by being like, I make a joke, 2% milk, blah, blah, blah. And just like, some benign stuff.
Sometimes that's even fun to go really fucked up and then just say something, oh, you guys didn't like that? Okay, I'll do a joke about this. Then.
Yeah. Sometimes there's jokes that I have on this album that are about pedophiles and pedophilia. And there are times when I would be running the set where like I knew I had to run the entire joke. I had to run the entire bit just to get it out.
Right.
And there are times when people would falter on like the first part of the pedophile bit. And I'd be like, I hope you guys, I'm just going to double down on this pedophile joke because I have to. And people would laugh at that. And then they would laugh at the second part of it.
Right.
Which I didn't expect because I was like, you guys didn't like the first half.
Sometimes they need to be reminded, hey, lighten up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So sometimes the joke doesn't hit for me, and I'm like, you're not. It's kind of a hacky line, but I'll be like, oh, you didn't like that. You're not going to like the next 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Because it's going to get more fucked up than that, and then that lets people go, oh, okay, okay,
no, we're okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
he's right. Yeah, we could laugh. It's fine. What do you have any goals that you're pursuing right now? Non-comedy.
Non-comedy goals.
Any personal goals?
I run and I exercise. That's like the major way that I exercise is by running. And I didn't do it a whole lot when I was in Scotland, and my mile time has been slowly getting worse. I'd like to get back under an 8-minute mile again. I used to be able to run a mile in my best mile times that were about 7:10. So I think I did a 7:06 mile once. I'd like to get back to at least like a 7:30 by the end of the year. I don't think that that's impossible.
Oh, I bet you could do it right now if you forced yourself.
I've tried. That's the thing. Like I'm not walking around, and also I was smoking a lot. I'm in the process of quitting smoking cigarettes. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that'll do it.
Today is day 8
of not smoking.
And that's the thing. I wasn't doing it enough where it was like affecting my ability to like run around as much, but now I'm like, oh, it kind of was.
Yeah.
And I think I was just out of form in terms of like how to run properly. So I got to get back into that. I could probably do like a consistent 7.5 minute mile by the end of October if I really put my mind to it. But that's a goal because I keep running these miles. I'll do like a 2 or 3 mile run. And then I look at my watch and I'm like, after it's done, I'm like, oh, that took me like 8.5 minutes or 8 minutes. That doesn't feel right. I should be better than that.
Yeah, that's an easy thing. You set a timer and you try and beat it by 5 seconds every time.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is.
I want to do more yoga too. I got to do a little bit more. I got to up my...
I've never done yoga.
Yoga's great. It's great for your body.
I'm worried that I'll just get horny from all the hot girls in it.
You should do home yoga.
They have a men's yoga? Oh, yeah, home yoga.
Home yoga helps.
I'll do home yoga.
Though the woman who's the most popular yoga gal on YouTube is Yoga with Adrienne, and she's like hot in the attainable way,
Okay.
Like in the girl next door kind of way.
There needs to be a yoga, like a yoga YouTuber chick that's pretty gross.
There probably is. Look for it.
I'll look for like old lady yoga.
Yeah.
And I'll do that at home.
Or
even in real life.
Go to like there's old people do yoga.
Yeah.
Go to like some chair yoga classes. Go to the there's
But then
we live in an
be
area with
intense
so many
enough for
senior
me?
centers. Yoga you'll work up to it. You'll figure it out.
Yeah. All right, there's the goals. Thanks for doing the podcast. Anything else you want to plug? You have your own podcast. You're still doing that?
Yeah, still doing that.
What's that one called?
Blockbusting.
Blockbusting. You could find me on there. We talked about XXX, Xander Cage.
It's the return of Xander Cage.
Yeah, great movie.
Yeah, we talk about movies that we hate and why you hate them. And Ari had a great episode on there. Yours one of the most downloaded episodes.
Oh, that's nice.
I think you're at least in the top 15, maybe the top 10.
How many have you done?
15. Yeah, it's a very short podcast. Very, not a lot of movies to hate. I've done about 160.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, you can find that wherever you find podcast. Blockbusting, the podcast where we love to hate the movies. That's not part of the title, but I like saying that. It's a good tagline.
Yeah, it's a good tagline. Anything else you want to promote? Your Instagram?
Yeah, you can find my Instagram and Twitter at DietJ. It's the same for both Instagram and Twitter. And keep your eyes peeled for
your album,
my
too.
album out probably end of October. but I'll have some details out about that. jlightcomedy.com is also where I'll have also show dates and other stuff there too.
That's cool. Yeah. Matt Lockwood got 60 Instagram followers from this.
Damn.
That's power right there.
That is, you got a
60.
fan base, dude. You got a following. There's a
It's-
reason why
well,
your
my
episode's one of the
following-
top 10 most listened
My
to episodes.
following is just sub followings of other people, but I'll take it.
It's good.
That's everyone's followings at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, everybody just accumulates people who are like, oh yeah, I also like that person.
People who listen to me are mostly Theo Von fans and Laugh Factory fans.
I mean, that's a good
the
subset.
That's the two number one places I've got. I have some of my own followers, but those are the two number one and number two places.
That's good.
where
That's a good
people
group.
find me. I'll take it.
Yeah.
All right. See you next time.
See ya. Thank you.
Bye.
You're listening to
Unlicensed therapy with Ari Mannis.
Unlicensed Therapy with Ari Mannis.